Avengers Assemble for the first and final lines of your favorite MCU characters.
How do we do this?
As a team.
The first 3 phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe gave fans some of the most memorable heroes and villains in movie history. Let's find out how these super characters change between their first lines and their last ones.
I feel like you're driving me to a court-martial. This is crazy. What did I do?
There is arguably no character arc in the MCU better than Tony Stark's, aka Iron Man. Made clear by his first line, where he makes things completely about himself. The billionaire playboy philanthropist started out as a selfish warmonger, before getting blasted by his own weapon and starting his transformation into a selfless peacemaker. Iron Man charmed us with his trademark humor from the beginning, but he left us with a truly heartfelt final goodbye.
I love you 3000.
Going by the alias Natalia Rushman, Black Widow snuck into the MCU posing as a simple notary in Iron Man 2.
I need you to initial each box.
But by the end of the film, everyone knew she was a force to be reckoned with. Natasha Romanoff's checkered past left her guilt-ridden and striving for redemption. So when her journey from a deceptive spy to a trustworthy hero ended with the ultimate sacrifice, she made it clear the choice was hers.
Kinda makes you think twice about enlisting, huh?
Nope.
Based on those first words, one thing is very clear about Steve Rogers. He is not easily discouraged. The first Captain America went through a number of physical transformations, from a scrawny young man who refused to give up, to an old man that went and got some of that life Tony Stark was talking about. The one thing that didn't change was his heart. Funny enough, Cap's first and last lines were a happy refusal.
No, I don't think I will.
One of Loki's best tricks was his very first line in the MCU, and he didn't even realize it.
Do the frost giants still live?
The god of mischief's first words actually spoke to his true origin as the son of Laufey, leader of the enemy frost giants. Loki's final line came right before his end at the hands of Thanos, defying the evil tyrant with one last taunt.
We'll never be.
Lucky for us, we've still got his variant.
When I'm king, I'll hunt the monsters down and slay them all.
Thor's first line comes right after Loki's, highlighting his brutish and self-serious nature. But the god of thunder's obsession with power, glory, and title eventually faded. Hardships and great loss forced him to grow, and changed him into a hilarious former king of Asgard, who willingly walked away from his throne. He joined up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and left us with these very sarcastic words after Star-Lord claims he's in charge.
Of course.
The Hulk's first words might sound a little weird to fans, and it's not just because the big green guy didn't say them.
Is it ready?
Before Mark Ruffalo took on the role of Dr. Bruce Banner in the Avengers movie, actor Edward Norton was the first man to go green in the MCU. But in the end, it is Smart Hulk who delivers the last line.
Well, get him back. I'm trying. Get him the hell back.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Black Panther's first and last lines do an amazing job of tracking the character's immense growth throughout the MCU.
I suppose neither of us is used to the spotlight.
Fans first meet T'Challa as a prince not yet ready to stand in the spotlight. After he officially takes on the mantle of the Black Panther, the King of Wakanda rose to the occasion, no longer afraid to take center stage. His final words reflect that, as he takes the gauntlet from Hawkeye during the final battle in Endgame.
Grit! Give it to me.
When it comes to the original Avengers, Hawkeye is in a slightly different tier compared to his super-powered counterparts. And that's clear in his first line in Thor.
You want me to slow him down, sir? Or are you sending in more guys for him to beat up?
Hawkeye can usually be found just left of center throughout the Marvel films, but he's also been present at the most critical moments and battles. Just like his first line, his last also has him talking about another Avenger, once again highlighting how his regular position is just outside the spotlight.
We did it.
Wanda Maximoff's journey began in battle with the Avengers, alongside the evil artificial intelligence Ultron.
Talk. And if you're wasting our time...
After breaking free of Ultron's manipulation and losing her twin brother Pietro, her brief but passionate love affair with Vision only brought her more pain and suffering. But Wanda rose above it all, stronger than ever, and in WandaVision, her final lines assure us that she'll return better than ever.
Goodbye, Monica.
Super AI Vision came into the world a virtual baby, fully grown with red skin and an infinity stone in his forehead. His first words perfectly encapsulate just how bizarre that all is.
I'm sorry, that was odd.
Shortly after meeting and falling for Wanda Maximoff, he met his demise at her very hands, and then Thanos's, only to be mysteriously resurrected in WandaVision. But by the end, the two were forced to part yet again. Something tells me this isn't the last we've seen of Vision.
So long, darling.
Protecting the universe from tyranny is probably a 24-hour job, so Captain Marvel's first lines in the MCU is pretty fitting.
Do you know what time it is?
Can't sleep.
Arguably the strongest Avenger, Carol Danvers didn't return to the fold until things were more dire than they'd ever been. After saving Tony's life at the start of Endgame, she came back yet again and turned the tide in the final battle. Her last line in Phase 3 hints at her and Spider-Man's future roles at the center of the MCU.
Hey, Peter Parker. You got something for me?
Scott Lang is introduced to the Marvel Universe on his last day in jail, where he plans to leave his life of crime behind.
You didn't even move.
But it isn't long before he's swiping a certain Hank Pym supersuit and becoming the next Ant-Man. Although he is definitely a hero, Lang's criminal past proves too useful to truly leave behind. And the proof is in his final line in Endgame.
What?
It's dead. I have to hotwire it.
This isn't your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's first time on the big screen. Not even close. So Peter Parker's first line in the MCU wastes no time reintroducing us to a familiar character.
Hey, mate.
With Spider-Man set to be at the heart of Phase 4, his final line in Spider-Man Far From Home tees us up for a wild story.
What the?
Parker's last words also have quite a bit in common with his aunts at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming.
What the
The man that started it all. Nick Fury's first line was actually originally said by another member of the Avengers.
I am Iron Man.
The S.H.I.E.L.D. commander and founder of the Avengers has been present from the very beginning, leading with his trademark no-nonsense attitude. But at the end of Phase 3, he appears to have mellowed a bit, as he shifts his focus to an entirely new mission.
Got my shoes!
Nebula's journey began in servitude to Ronan the Conqueror.
Ronan, Korath has returned.
Her cold and rigid personality made her a loyal and violent follower, but the influence of her sister Gamora and Tony Stark miraculously transformed her into a sarcastic, laid-back member of the Guardians. The proof of her newfound attitude is clear in her final line in Endgame.
We should fight one another for the honor of leadership.
Sounds fair.
Rocket, the talking super genius space raccoon, had some pretty abrasive first words.
Xandarians. What a bunch of losers.
That's a lot of disdain for people that he would actually save by the end of the film. That kind of contradiction is at the heart of Rocket, whose last lines of Phase 3 is full of delight as he adds more fuel to the conflict between his comrades Thor and Star-Lord.
I got some blasters unless you guys want to use knives.
Dr. Stephen Strange's know-it-all personality was present long before he was the powerful Sorcerer Supreme, as evidenced by his introduction where Strange shows off his vast musical knowledge.
Challenge round, Billy.
When Hubris takes away his prized hands and starts him down his path of magic, he becomes a little less narcissistic and self-centered along the way. But his last line in Endgame makes it clear the know-it-all personality is still there.
If I tell you what happens, it won't happen.
Star-Lord, brash leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, had an unexpectedly sweet introduction to the MCU.
They killed little frog that ain't done nothing.
Thanks to his tumultuous time in space, the once pure-hearted kid who defended the defenseless became an insecure, narcissistic adult who still defends the defenseless, on occasion, for a reward. His insecurity shines through in his final Phase 3 line.
Me. Right?
Marvel Big Bad, Thanos' first line accurately highlighted his arrogance, constantly looking down on everyone around him.
The only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you.
On his insane mission to collect all the Infinity Stones and eliminate half of all life in the universe, the Mad Titan drew the ire of every Avenger. Thanos' final words tie back perfectly to his first line, demonstrating his hubris as his arrogance sealed his fate.
I am inevitable.
Much like Hulk, War Machine, aka Colonel James Rhodes, saw a bit of recasting, going from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
As liaison to Stark Industries,
Cheadle takes over from Iron Man 2 on, delivering a bit of a pump fake for the character's final line in Endgame.
See you on the other side, man.
Fortunately, in this case, the other side meant the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
it's a new day, brother.
With Phase 4 just getting started, characters like Loki, Wanda Maximoff, Captain Marvel, and Spiderman have many more iconic lines in store for the coming films and TV shows. What's your favorite MCU quote so far? Which Phase 4 character will be the first to speak their final line? Let us know in the comments.